Today I would like to present the evaluation of the golden ratio of the face and the aesthetic proportion of the face. As a table of contents, I would like to present 3 research papers. The definition of the beauty-face ratio has been tried since ancient time, and the golden ratio is the most referenced. Recognition of facial proportions show that it has been around for a long time. There have been steady attempts to define and quantify anatomical beauty. Due to the development of media, interest in beauty is increasing and plastic surgery is gaining popularity all over the world. The ideal angle and proportion of the face are very important factors for the success of plastic surgery. Therefore, in analyzing beauty, the parameter of golden ratio, angle, and proportion will be investigated in 3 papers. The first paper analyzed the face of the most beautiful woman in the 20th century based on Miss Universe Thailand and Miss Universe winner and compared their face with the golden ratio. This study was used the photograph of 16 Miss Universe Thailand and 16 Miss Universe from 2021 to 2015. All photographs were searched from internet and stored using Photoshop. This photo and table show 26 dominant points. The abbreviations are as follows: V, vertex, TR, trigion, G, glabella, T, temporal, BM, medial eyebrow, BL, lateral eyebrow, BP, peak of the eyebrow, N, nasion, EN, endocanion, EX, exocanion, PS, pabella superius, PI, pabella inferius, P, center of pupil, ZY, Zion, PRN, pronacial, AR, ala, SN, subnacial, CP, cuspis, peak, LS, labial superius, CH, celion, LI, labial inferius, STO, stomion, SL, sublabella, ANG, mandibular angle, PG, pogonion, GN, galvanion. Neoclassical canon and facial golden ratio are the most widely used reference of the beauty. Thus, we use them to compare the facial proportion among Miss Universe Thailand and Mini Universe winner. The following points were evaluated in the neoclassical canon analysis. Two-section canon. The height of vertex to end canon is equal to height of the endocanon to Galvanian. Three-section canon. The height of Trisian to Nasion, of the Nasion to subscale, and of subscale to the Galvanian are equal. Four-section canon. The height of vertex to Trisian, of the Trisian to Galvania, of the Galvania to the subscale, and of the subscale to Galvanian are equal. Neofacial proportion canon. The width of alle is equal to quarter of the width of the distance between geogomas. Orbital nasal proportion canon. The distance between the medial canthus is equal to width of the ala. Orbital proportion canon. The distance between the medial canthus is equal to the width of the eye fissure. Naso-oral proportion canon. The width of the mouth is equal to 1.5 of the width of the ala. The width of face can be divided into fifths. Neoclassical canon analyzed as follows. 1. Nasal proportion analyzed by 3 points. Nasal frontal angle. The inner angle formed by a line tangent to glabella and a line tangent to the nasal dorsum intersecting at the nasion. Second, nasofacial angle. The inner angle formed by intersection of the facial plane from the glabella to pogonium and nasodorsal plane from nasion to the proscale. Third, nasolabial angle. The inner angle formed by a line tangent to the nasal columella and a line tangent to upper lip intersecting at the subnasal. 2. Nasal tip projection analyzed by 2 ratio. First, the ala to tip of the nose and nasion to the tip of the nose. Second, the tip of the nose to upper lip and upper lip to ala of the nose. 3. Lower facial proportion analyzed by relation of the stomion to the cranion and subscale to the stomion. 4. Oral proportion analyzed by relation of the height of the lower and upper lips. 5. Chin projection measured by drawing a line from glabella through the subscale and another line from the glabella to the progonium. The facial golden ratio were measured in 16 proportion and divided into 11 vertical and 5 horizontal measurements. To summarize material methods, comparison of facial proportion among Miss Universe Thailand and Miss Universe Neoscale cannon and facial coordination were performed by two surgeons. Table 2 and 3 show the comparison between mini-universe Thailand and neoclassical canon and facial proportion. 9 points of facial analysis was statistically significant. Of 7 neoclassical canon, 6 were statistically significant. Of these, 3 facial portions of the mini-universe Thailand were shorter than neoclassical canon. 2 sections, neo-facial and orbital proportion canons. 3 facial proportions of mini-universe Thailand were longer than those of neoclassical canon. 4 sections, orbit nasal and nasal-oral proportion canons. Table 4 shows the comparison between mini-universe and neoclassical canon and facial proportion. 10 points of facial analysis were found to be statistically significant. Of 7 neoclassical canon, 6 were statistically significant. Of these, 3 facial proportions of the mini-universe were shorter than neoclassical canon. 2 sections, 3 sections, and facial proportion canon. 3 facial proportions of the mini-universe groups were longer than those of neoclassical canon. 4 sections, orbit nasal and orbit proportion canon. Table 6 and 7 show the comparison between mini-universe Thailand and mini-universe groups, and 7 points of facial analysis were found to be statistically significant. Of the 7 neoclassical canon, 5 were statistically significant. 2 sections, 3 sections, nasofacial, orbital, and naso-oral proportion canons. Table 8 shows the comparison of the facial coordination between mini-universe Thailand and mini-universe group. In the Miss Universe Thailand groups, 20 facial ratio demonstrate statistical significance to the facial golden ratio. In the mini-universe groups, 20 facial ratio demonstrate statistical significance to the facial golden ratio. Table 9 shows results of horizontal facial golden ratio and facial proportion. Or horizontal facial golden ratio demonstrates statistical significance in both groups. In all 16 facial ratio, no statistical significance was found between the mini-universe Thailand and mini-universe groups. The conclusion of the first paper is as follows. First, the modern facial proportion of beauty are different from those of the past. Second, photogrammetric analysis demonstrates longer forehead, thinner lower upper lip, height proportion, wider interlala medial cancers with proportion, and wider nasofrontal angle compared with previous standards. Third, Miss Universe winner showed wide nasofacial angle and more nasal-tip projection than neoclassical canons. Moreover, the facial golden ratio was statistically significantly embedded in modern facial proportion of the beauty. The title of the paper in part 2 is Aesthetic of Numerical Proportion in Human Cosmetic Surgery. As shown in figure on the right, the nasolabial angle is common 90 to 115 degrees. By measuring this parameter, the ideal proportion can be identified and the role of the parameter in assessing postoperative can be assessed. The purpose of this study is search for the application of this numerical proportion in modern cosmetic surgery. This study selected total 23 patients, 7 men and 60 women by single surgeon. Geometric standards were of particular importance for aesthetic in Figure 1. One of the most important criteria is tip of rotation, that this amount is determined on angle based between the nose and lip. This angle between the two lines as follows. First, the line passed from front and back of the nostril. Second, vertical line to the horizontal plane when patient back forward. Third, we can easily measure mentioned angle with our available software. Fourth, it takes effect step the more accurate way of the doing rhinoplasty. This study obtained results from indicate the ideal angle was about 100.44 plus minus 26.5 degree after surgery in table 3. Average change of this angle in men had 18.8 degree increase and in women 14.68 degree increased. The change of angle were more in men because had the less prospective angle. After surgery, nasal laser angle was 106 to 117 in men and 106 to 114 in women. That indicates fixed number recurrent range of the procedure, which can be considered ideal angle in patients undergoing rhinoplasty to evaluate the postoperative result. The conclusion of the second study was summarized as follows. This study showed that an ideal proportion can be very useful and practical to assess patients' pre-operative expectation and to evaluate the result after surgery and satisfaction of the cosmetic surgery process. The title of paper in part 3 is The Role of the Ideal Angle Ratio and divine proportion in aesthetic evaluation of either scan. The purpose of this study was to investigate whether the parameter of ideal angle ratio and divine proportions previously mentioned in the literature influenced the aesthetic evaluation of the Turkey idol scan. In this study, 6 out of 2,000 subjects were selected as a model for non-detect-free Turkish idol scan, aged 9 to 17 years of age, aged from 2000 to 2008. To evaluation facial aesthetic, 3 preoperative explore photograph in the record. Frontal resting, frontal milling, and lateral resting were used for each patient. Figure 1 and 2 show landmark in lateral and frontal photos. Particular masking and measurement were performed in the extraoral lateral and frontal photograph using Sigma Scan software. A total of 34 points were marked. 15 in the frontal photograph and 19 in the lateral photograph. A total of 50 dental students, 25 male and 25 female, aged 19 to 26, were asked to rate the photos of the site using the bus from 0 to 100 according to their aesthetic perceptions. The first step of bus measurement was separate section of the reference photos for boys and girls. The second was the scoring or the photos with reference photos. For ideal angle on lateral rest photos, it measured at 26 points as shown in the photo by bus score. For ideal angle on frontal resting photos, it measured at 27 points as shown in the photo by bus score. For divine proportion, a total of 19 divine proportions were measured. According to the final average bus score created by bus score given by alternative for each patient, a mark with red line angle had a significant relationship among 26 angles measured in front photograph. The presence of these 8 angles within normal limits in the individual patients ensured that alternatives. According to final average bus score created with the bus score given by a layperson for each patient, 3 marks with a blue line angle were significantly related among 26 angles measured in profile photograph. The presence of the 3 angles within normal limits in an individual patient ensured that a person would find this patient beautiful with probability of 21%. According to final average bus score that or created by bus score given by orthodontics for each patient, 6 mark with a red line ratio had a significant relationship among 27 ratio measured in front photograph. According to the final average bus score created with bus score given by layperson for each patient, 7 mark with blue line ratio was significantly related among 27 ratio measured in the front photograph. According to final average bus score created by bus score given by orthodontics and layperson for each patient, none of the defined proportion had a significant relationship. The conclusion of third study summarized as follows. This study measured angle and ratio measurement in the extraoral photograph. It was observed that orthodontics noticed the sagittal proportion of the lower jaw and distance between the eye and length of the face, whereas layperson noticed only the distance between the eye and length of the face. No significant relationship was found between any of the defined proportion and facial aesthetic according to both orthodontics and layperson. Thank you for listening.